GNASS. Two degenerates, both sides of the border. John Santina, Alex Lacasse. The Great North American Sports Show.
Welcome into another edition of the Great North American Sports Show. Our first show of the year 2023. We're recording on the evening of January 4th. I'm Alex Lacasse, coming to you from the heart of the Shire on New Hampshire seacoast. And as always, we're joined by our John Santina in our friendly neighbor to the north of Toronto, Ontario. John, did you make a New Year's resolution?
I did, and hopefully I stick to it, but I'm not willing to share it with you just yet because that might be a little bad luck. How about yourself, my friend?
Other than to make GNASS further its goal in taking over the sports landscape of this fine continent, John. Nothing of note.
To have GNASS get picked up by some advertisers, Alex, I think that one is fair to share, actually. It's one of a few.
Yes.
Alex, but it is a gloomy day here in Toronto, and of course, I might have a conniption if Team Canada loses the game over my right. Well, it'll look like my left on the screen, but it's actually my right shoulder. Alex, but we do have a great show planned ahead for our listeners today. First, we talk about the scary Damar Hamlin incident that happened on Monday Night Football. We'll examine another, just terrible incident where the NFL health protocols were put into the spotlight. Excuse me. We'll move to a lighter topic as Connor Bedard has become the greatest showman on ice, and of course, we'll move to open court. There's a revolving door out west, Alex. Do we think the Nuggets can finally break the cycle?
Maybe,
and of course,
not.
Maybe the Joker is playing some good basketball right now. And out east, the Brooklyn Nets are finally good, my friend. Finally. It's kind of killing my preseason prediction, though, if you remember. I had them potentially in the lottery zone. I thought
sneaky tanker.
Yeah, sneaky tanker with some dysfunction. It was looking real good when Kyrie was looking awfully racist, and then apparently they just decided he's not anymore, and now they're good at basketball. But we'll talk about it. And of course, we'll close out the show with This Week in Social Media and everyone's favorite segment, Degenerates Corner. All right, let's get right into it. Well, Alex, I think we got to start off the show just as the weather is here in Toronto, just very, very gloomy, my friend. And let's talk about Damar Hamlin. Scary incident for the Bills defensive back. Our thoughts and prayers with him and his family, sending him out love and support in any way we can. Also, by the way, shout out to anyone who donated to his GoFundMe.
Yeah, over like $3 million in like 24 hours.
Absolutely crazy. Also, shout out to all you guys. So just a round of applause. But I mean, Alex, just let's reflect on.
This has been the story in sports for the last, over 48 hours, really since it happened. And it was really unprecedented. The NFL stopped this game in the first quarter, and they didn't return. I mean, this is a sport where dudes have been paralyzed in the past, and then the whistle blows, and maybe at some point they gain their movement, but at other times like they haven't. But the whistle blows, and usually the game continues. And so this alone, and I mean, it was very much like Christian Eriksen at the Euro tournament.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
You saw like briefly that the camera panned over to him, and like you saw them trying to resuscitate him, and then like his teammates thought to form a wall and protect the camera because obviously they knew what was happening. And so just certainly seeing if you're being resuscitated, that means your heart has stopped. And not that I'm a doctor and I just play one on TV, John.
Yeah, we're not medical experts, but we do try our best.
And so certainly seeing your teammate, need to be resuscitated on the field, and have, when that happens, every second matters. That's certainly traumatizing. So I certainly don't. Yeah, I mean, I think the league, by letting the teams kind of lead the way on this, the NFL is a slow moving target, John, for a lot of these crises. But I think here I think, certainly the medical response, I think even maybe 10 years ago, there's a chance he probably would have died right there on the field.
No, 100%. And shout out to everyone on the field who's quick to respond. Shout out to the coaches too, because the initial, like, I believe it's like a protocol or policy within the NFL is to actually like, it's like you take this pause and then the players warm up for, I believe it's 15 minutes and then you resume play. Shout out to the coaches for immediately just kiboshing that bullshit. There's more important things than football when something like that happens. And Alex, you said it best. Like these guys, there's a degree of danger with any sport for that matter. And in this sort of instance, when you're tackling, you're leading with your head, like you're potentially putting your life on the line. And in this case, like he he took a shot. He took a shot to the chest. Excuse me.
And I didn't
And
see it live, but from all accounts, it looked like a fairly routine
like
impact
yeah, just a
play.
regular play, and everyone just they're waiting for him to get up and just nothing, like
Well,
nothing.
anytime
And
you see a guy get up and then he
exactly.
immediately collapses, that's where it gets scary. And so, I mean, not that anyone really has any answers right now. That there were reports today that he has made Damar Hamlin, that is, has made positive steps in the steps that you would like to see following this event. But I mean, he's certainly he's still in critical care. So he's by no stretch out of the woods yet. And we're gonna learn a lot more in the weeks and months ahead as he goes about his recovery. That there has been some talk where it might have been an incident of this medical phenomenon. Forgive my pronunciation, but it's comotoio cordis. It's not common in hockey, but I guess in sports like
More
hockey, baseball that involve high velocity projectiles. And if you are impacted in the chest and down to the right millisecond of your heart cycle, this was per a medical expert that was interviewed on CNN. If you're impacted down to that millisecond, it can cause an arrhythmia. And but by no means have they declared that this is exactly what happened, or I mean, he could have had some underlying cardiac issue that they just didn't know about, and that led to this. But either way, really, really scary incident on Monday Night Football. And the NFL, as we said, I think we agree that they made the right call here.
100%. And like I said, shout out to the coaches too, because apparently the reports were indicating that the head coaches of each team were the first ones. Excuse me, Sean McDermott and the other coach's name is
Zach
escaping me
Taylor.
right now.
Zach
Zach
Taylor.
Taylor. Thank you. But apparently they were the first two who were like, no, like we need to stop this immediately and ensure that Damar gets the correct help. Damar Hamlin gets the correct help that he needs. And it's to be honest, like knowing that coaches are being proactive like that and players for that matter, it's a refreshing change given that we've had scary incidents like the Christian Eriksen incident, like the two, like even in the NFL, the Tua Tagovailoa incidents earlier this year with the concussions. It's good
Yeah,
to
when
just
he had the fencing response, that was very that was I thought he was
horrifying,
paralyzed. Yeah, and he was like,
horrifying.
yeah,
But it's just it is nice to see that hopefully this is the start of turning the page in terms of player safety.
and again, if this turns out not to be this commotio cordis phenomenon, and again, just to reiterate, we are very, very far from beginning to find anything out medically what may have caused this, incident for Damar Hamlin. But if it isn't that, and he just had some underlying heart thing, like as tragic as it, like I mean, it happens to athletes, and that always doesn't get you. I mean, you hope and pray that it gets caught, before something like this happens. But I mean, if it is this impact play, in the NFL, and again, it's common. This or not common again, but I mean, it happened in the '90s to Chris Pronger, and the guy had made a full recovery and had a Hall of Fame NHL career. So
There, he wouldn't be the first player or athlete to recover from an injury or a situation like that. Like Jonas Gustafsson comes to mind too, like a former goaltender, longtime goaltender in the NHL who had like numerous open heart surgeries during his career. Well, actually, one time Bruin, one time Maple Leaf. Uh, but yeah, Alex, let's pivot to I guess the the overall picture of the game in terms of this game prior to its pause had some implications on the line for the playoff picture. And well, how, how exactly do you take it from here? I mean, I guess that's the
Right.
only
And
real way to
I mean,
phrase it.
so there was an incident back in the 1970s where a Detroit Lions player sustained a heart attack on the field and he later died. I don't know his name. I don't have it handy, but his name has come up recently. And so really no one in NFL management and game operations that really had a playbook for something like this if it was to happen where a player did again lose his lose his pulse on the field and needed to be resuscitated. And I thought, it being the NFL and this is a Monday Night Football game, there being, not just, the playoff, on the field implications, but, the economic implications here. Like, I thought that there was maybe a chance that they started this game on Tuesday night or resumed it on Tuesday night. When that
I
didn't
think
happen,
that Alex, that's too soon to resume this game. Like you
well,
definitely have to
I
play
think
it out, but
if it turned out that this went the other way for Damar Hamlin, and again, thankfully signs are positive as if
yeah,
as we record and as we speak right now, and everybody is pulling for that. If it had gone the other way, and God forbid he's succumbed to this during the resumption of the NFL game, that would be a PR disaster that I don't know if the league could recover from. So they don't play it. They don't play it on Tuesday night. They don't play it Wednesday night. Now you get into week 18, and win or lose, I mean, the Bengals were, they were up 7-3. They looked like they at least had Buffalo figured out, and then, 2 drives into that game. If they win that game, they're still in the running for the 1 seed. And I mean, still there's a chance that if Kansas City loses to the Raiders, then Buffalo could have beaten New England and still backed into the 1 seed. So I don't know how you equitably fix this, John. It also, like, I on some level,
I think Alex, there's no way to life isn't fair. There's no way to equitably fix this at all. And the only way you can do this is to play a makeup game. I mean, like we've had it in other sports before. This is an unforeseen circumstance. We can't. There's not going to be a rule in the rule book for every single circumstance or every single tiebreak. And in this particular case, this was something that we couldn't have planned for. And I think the only fair thing to do is you do resume the game where it was. You're not going to be able to do it before week 18, and it's going to have to happen after week 18 and potentially give any potential playoff games another bye week. That's, to me, that's the only solution to move forward here.
right? And so now say you're Kansas City, you win out. Buffalo drops this game to the Bengals. Now theoretically you're the 1 seed. Now you have a double bye. And is that that's very out of routine for a football team? Like, is that
It's very bad. Very bad.
Yeah.
Ask Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
to that point. Sorry, go ahead.
So in a way, the Chiefs that had no direct involvement in this, they just played out their schedule. Now they potentially stand to not necessarily reap the benefits of being the sole team with the bye.
That's fair, but like I said, Alex, it's unforeseen circumstances. There's no way for it to be fair. It's just simply that. The only other thing we could do, and I don't think anyone would be cool with this, is you just simply call the game where it is. That doesn't seem right either. And
that doesn't seem right either. If you can maybe make the case if they had played one full half, maybe,
but yeah, that doesn't seem right to call the game 7-3 that early. And yeah, like that being said, because of it, like the only thing you really can do is you just have to play a compensation game at some point, and it's just going to simply be unfair to teams like the Chiefs or to any, and possibly more fair if you're a beat up team that was going to make the wild card game.
They could go they could go the other way, and the Bills end up with the 1 seed, and the Chiefs got the bye when they otherwise wouldn't have had it. So no, that's a fair point as well. And
but point being is, it's going to throw off everyone's schedule.
Right, but there is one dynamic that we haven't talk about yet. and that's the Patriots and Bills game this Sunday. So the Chiefs and Raiders are supposed to play Saturday. So the Bills will know what they need to do against the Patriots. And if the Bills don't need to win the game against the Patriots could back into the playoffs. But now you're Buffalo and you still need to play another game against Cincinnati to determine your seeding. But what if, like, what it would just like, but what if Buffalo's like still not mentally prepared to play this game? I mean, because both the Bills and Patriots were given or had their media availability skipped today. Essentially, the NFL told them not to do it. And so maybe this game gets pushed off to Monday. But what if the Bills still aren't ready to play? Then do they
That's
have
a
to forfeit?
That's fair, but Alex, for this particular question, I'd refer back to the situation you essentially brought up as an example earlier with Christian Eriksen. When that happened to Christian Eriksen, this became a rallying point for the Denmark national team, and they were able to go further than they had gone in quite some time at the Euro tournament. And I think the Bills can rally around this. Now, I agree. There is a degree of we need to wait and make sure the players are sort of, I wouldn't say fully recuperated. I don't know if that'll happen per se.
No, definitely not.
But at the same time, there has to be a degree of we wait an appropriate amount of time, but we can't wait too long to the point where we're pushing off the entire NFL schedule. And I think that's just going to be a trade-off where some teams are just going to have to be snake bitten with either a double bye week or they get a bye week when they really weren't expecting it.
And so,
Alex?
yeah, I was going to say, we're going to take a quick break here on GNASS, and John is going to tell you about the most exciting show on ice north of the border and playing in the World Junior Championships.
I mean, he's down 1-0 right now to Team USA, but we'll talk about it.
Uh-oh.
And we're back.
And we're back. This just in on GNAS. Connor Bedard is overrated, losing to the United States, the World Junior Championship.
Yeah, he's down. Yeah, we were just talking about that. He's down. If you can see the screen over my left shoulder, property of TSN, by the way, please don't take our video down. He's down 1-0, and to Team USA. Team USA off to a hot start as well, out shooting Canada 9-0 about 6 minutes into the game, which dude, they're bringing the heat. So hopefully Connor can flip the switch sometime soon here. But he's been able to do it against everyone else in this tournament at a record-breaking pace. I mean, 5 games, 21 points, and 8 goals. And Alex, this guy's career at the World Juniors, 13 games played, 16 goals, and 33 points. He is on a level.
I think that's good, right?
That's yeah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's
right.
on. That's on par.
My question for you, John.
You go ahead first.
Oh yeah, no. So my question for you is Connor Bedard entering the territory where he's a more hyped prospect than Connor McDavid, than Sidney Crosby coming into the NHL?
That's what I was about to say. He wasn't initially, but we all knew he was like a near generational talent, if not generational talent. He has exceptional status from Hockey Canada. He's been on the radar for a long time. He fits the description of what they call the 7-year interval, where about every 7 years a generational talent enters the NHL. So Connor McDavid is about 25. So that would be 7 years into his career, being drafted at 18. So he fits all the like initial descriptives, and now he's putting up point totals that first off better Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby ever did at this turn. Even though they all played as 16-year-olds, all played as 17-year-olds, his numbers in this tournament are better than McDavid, better than Crosby. He's putting up numbers that were basically unheard of and were only put up in the 80s and early 90s when goaltenders were basically dumpsters and like garbage cans just fucking standing there with no pads on. And he's like the names that are around him in terms of scoring are guys like Wayne Gretzky, Eric Lindros, Peter Forsberg. He's even getting close to Marcus Naslund. Marcus Naslund, by the way, longtime NHL star. The reason Marcus Naslund is one of the top scorers, and Pavel Bure, but Naslund in particular, the reason he's top scorer at this tournament is he used to torch Team Japan a lot.
There you go.
But yeah, Connor Bedard is just the hype train is just picking up as it goes along. He's scoring highlight reel goal after highlight reel goal. He's one of the best skaters I've ever seen in my life. Like in terms of his edge work, his balance is just exceptional. Explosive as the aforementioned Pavel Bure that I just said. And one thing that is just crazy about him is he shoots the puck with just like he has an actual NHL caliber shot, which is just so rare from someone who's 16, 17 years old. But the
Sure.
full
And
package.
so now the obvious question when we talk about these super prospects is where's he going in the draft? And if you were to put your David Stern suit and tie on for a second,
My
John
my
Santina.
Gary Bettman hat says Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah, and you can rig the draft lottery. Where do you want to see him end up, and what do you think's best for the league?
So the obvious one is Arizona. Everyone's going to keep saying Arizona just because of their financial struggles, the fact that they're moving into a new building, the fact that they need scorers, and their top prospect is actually playing against Bedard right now. He's one of the leaders on Team USA, Logan Cooley, also a fantastic scoring center. I personally think if it was up to the NHL, Chicago Blackhawks. The Chicago Blackhawks are in the midst of a PR disaster, Alex.
They need something to save them from themselves.
Yeah, like they really like they all they do is they just consistently have shot themselves in the foot since the Akim Alou story broke. All they've done is shoot themselves in the foot time and time again. Whether it's the sexual assault allegations, excuse me, with Kyle Beach, whether it's just tire fire trade after tire fire trade like Seth Jones, or Dominic Kubalik, who's now at the rival Detroit Red Wings as a point per game player.
Womp
They've
womp.
been a fucking calamity. And by the way, they have Peter Mrazek, who the Leafs, like last season, the joke was like the Leafs couldn't pay anyone to take him. Peter Mrazek's their starting goalie because that's how badly the Blackhawks want Connor Bedard. Um, Connor Bedard is a perfect fit from a marketing standpoint for the Chicago Blackhawks. And that is where I think Gary Bettman would personally want him to end up. Me though, I want him on the Vancouver Canucks. I want one of these generational guys to come home just once. He's a Vancouver kid. I think he'd be great in Vancouver, and it'd be great to see Vancouver have a competitive team again. Which I mean,
That's
they're
gonna take
not.
a long time.
That's gonna be a
Who's gonna rebuild quicker, the Canucks or the Blackhawks? I mean,
oh,
obviously, without Connor Bedard,
that's oh
independent of
that's
Connor Bedard.
so you take out Connor Bedard. These are two of the worst situations. Like the Blackhawks basically are tanking, but are also like kind of not good at tanking because they tank. Will take someone like Kirby Doc third overall and then trade him 2 years later, and then go figure he's like good. And then of course you look at the Vancouver Canucks who have invested probably half their cap in fourth line players. So the Canucks are a harder rebuild because I can't
Peter
see.
Chiarelli isn't running the show up there.
Oh God, dude, it was no, it was his understudy, Jim Benning.
There you go. Okay.
The man with the Paul Bearer haircut. But yeah, Jimmy Benning was he's doing great getting some character guys in the locker room, but he all of a sudden decided to U-turn, give JT Miller a big contract. JT Miller, he's known to him and Bo Horvat, the captain of the team, are known to have a locker room divide. So I think this team just needs a whole rejuvenation. Connor Bedard would be great for them. They can hand off the team to him, Elias Pettersson, who's a fantastic centerman, and Quinn Hughes, who's a defenseman who fits Connor Bedard's game perfectly. So I think that's a perfect fit for him. But Gary, man, he's going to the US.
You'd probably think so.
Well, he's got to end up south of the border, Alex. You got to get that revenue when the currency exchange is this high.
It's true. Even though they're not going to get that in Arizona.
Oh, in Arizona, they're going to be in Mullet Arena for the next 2 years. Which, by the way, that fucking piece of shit arena is not built for TV. Oh
No.
my god. Oh, Alex, I think that's enough talk about Connor Bedard for now. I think we can move to our segment on the court, which is open court. We have a new top team out west. It feels like every team we talk about, or not every team, every time we talk about the Western Conference these days, there's a new team on top.
Yeah, that's right. And these Nuggets, I think if any Nuggets team was going to make a
You'd
run,
like
I think you'd like to think it's this team. Now that Michael Porter Jr. is back, Jamal Murray's back from his injury. Hopefully by the playoffs, he'll have his sea legs under him and he'll be fine. I still think they need to make a move though. When you're the Nuggets and you're this close,
you gotta go over the top.
You don't want to leave this up to chance. And
Gotta go
I
over
think
the top.
some move would really separate them. Who that guy is, I'm not quite sure yet. I got to workshop that.
I agree. And also shout out to Nikola Jokic again for putting up another MVP caliber season. As we know, always voter fatigue is going to probably screw him out of the award, but Just another fantastic season from him. And
I mean, if he comes back and averages like a triple double,
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's like
fair.
at some point, like you can't deprive him of that. But I think anything short of that, yeah, he probably won't win the MVP award. And so, John, do you really think this Nuggets team can potentially make a run of the NBA Finals?
I do, because the key that we mentioned is the revolving door, which means that no one has really staked their claim up top, and Denver has been consistently one of the top teams. And I think their squad depth, they can finally, if they're finally healthy for a playoff run, that's going to be the big key, because they seem to have this like almost like curse over them, where in the first round someone's going to tear an ACL or hurt themselves and be out for the remainder of the season. But they have all the pieces in place that you said. Yeah, and I'd really like to see them like just be able to take that step. Even Alex, like I think that final piece could come internally, because they finally have a healthy Michael Porter who seems to not have hit his ceiling. God damn it, that's 2-0 USA. um,
Sorry.
sorry about that. But yeah, and sorry, lost my thought there for a second. But Michael Porter can finally hit his ceiling. Like you said, Jamal Murray, before his injury, he was just starting to hit his stride as a star point guard in the NBA. And Aaron Gordon, like no one is talking about this guy. Like he is a fantastic piece to have as a utility depth man on
He
your
is the
roster.
perfect big to have alongside Jokic, like like a real
Just
athletic guy that can
super
guard,
athletic board
two,
crasher.
three,
Yeah,
yeah, guard, two, three positions.
fantastic. And yeah, to your point, like we'll see what opens up at the deadline, but I think things are looking good in Denver either way.
I think if there's new blood in the Western Conference, like say the Warriors can't get their act together on the road, and the Warriors are battling to stay out of the play-in tournament, the LeBron James Invitational, as we call it on this program.
His favorite time of the
Um,
year.
so if the Warriors are in the play-in tournament, then I think all bets are off, and I think someone can knock them off between then the Western Conference Finals. The Warriors make it back to the Western Conference Finals. I think their roster is built to beat a team like the Nuggets. Like as great as Jokic is, I think there is kind of the Rudy Gobert issue with him, and not that he's an offensive liability like Gobert is, but certainly on the defensive end of the
It's
floor.
it's definitely harder for him to guard
If you
those.
have a team that can really space the perimeter and move the ball on defense, at some point the Nuggets are playing 4-on-5 defensively.
Yep. And it always causes, that's what poses the ultimate problem for them. I think what's crazy is like if they make that move to go over the top, ultimately they might be okay like sitting Jokic for parts of those games, but they need to use their advantage, like his size and that advantage of having him in order to win against a team like Golden State. But yeah, it's tough. Like the other team, like I was thinking could potentially give them fits is like if if he manages to stay healthy, the Pelicans, because Zion Williamson is just can just play out of his mind. And I don't see like, yes, you could say Aaron Gordon to a degree, but there isn't really a great matchup for him on the Nuggets just because of his size and his power. And he's too quick for Jokic to contain. And I could see them posing a ton of problems for the Nuggets as well, excuse me, provided that they're healthy. But
Yeah,
that's
I think the
another like
Pelicans are kind of like where the Grizzlies were a couple of years ago, and because of Zion's injuries, they've been set back a couple of years in their progression. And so maybe they win another round this year and they get into the second round. Maybe they make a deep push, but like I just don't think they're quite ready to take that next step yet. And maybe next year we're talking about the Pelicans as this team, but I think right now we're looking at, for me, it's something's rotten in Denmark with the Phoenix Suns. So for me, it's pretty much the Warriors, Nuggets, and Grizzlies is the only teams that I really think can make a push in the West.
the Grizzlies too, but I feel like the Grizzlies need a bit of a shakeup too, just because
Yeah,
of
they definitely need a shake up. They need to move some of these pieces, these kind of
exactly.
fringe pieces who can play, and we all know they can play, but they need to upgrade at the wing position for sure.
And
And I think that will be, what ultimately gets them where they need to go.
exactly. They need, if John Morant can just get one running partner, that team is going to be devastating. And it's just there. I think that would immediately overtake the Nuggets as the favorite, pending on who that running partner is. I think ironically Donovan Mitchell would have been a good one if he wasn't short.
Right. Yeah. Two combo guards.
I
And
know.
I mean, John Morant's a point guard. That isn't quite fair to call him a combo guard, but
By the way,
two ball dominant guards.
Connor Bedard goal.
All right.
Oh, Alex,
They might be onto something up there.
I know. Well, as long as it's on the Iceman, they're onto something. Alex, we talked. We're spoken about out west. Let's move to the east, where my tanking prediction has gone horribly wrong. I predicted the Brooklyn Nets would be a tire fire. I predicted they would be awful. I looked like a genius when Kyrie Irving tweeted some anti-Semitic bullshit. That's gone very wrong for me. They're a good team now. Kyrie is apparently not racist and good at basketball,
Yeah,
and that's a thing.
yeah, I guess when you're that elite and there's no guarantee that an NBA team wants to commit max money to you. Ironically, I think the only place where we might be able to get that max money is on the Lakers next year, so we can. But
That'd be amazing.
outside of that, I mean, yeah, you just put the two most insufferable
I thought it was really
jackasses,
oh my
or
god,
egotistical egomaniacs, and LeBron and Kyrie Irving.
the self-awareness level on that team is very little already.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's funny when a elite NBA superstar needs to sing for his supper, so to speak, and really prove that he still can play basketball at a high level, because certainly with all the the vaccine hesitancy and that soap opera, I think there was a real question around the league, how dedicated Kyrie Irving was to basketball. And at least for right now, this week, today, when we're recording this show, this week, tomorrow, that there might be.
There were doubts raised in November, but come January 4th, he's back to MVP Kyrie.
Right. Or I don't think he's winning an MVP, but he's,
Well, you know what I mean.
Superstar Kyrie for sure.
He's all-star level Kyrie that was plotting with Kevin Durant at the All-Star game. By the way, like, I have a big fucking problem with the Nets. Like, Kevin Durant, like, the Nets were in the cellar and Kevin Durant's just like, yo, like, we need to start winning. And all of a sudden Kyrie's
And he ripped his teammates, which you really don't see. He's like, yeah, well, like, what do you expect? I got Nick Claxton. He can't throw it in the ocean at the free throw line. Joe Harris he's playing on two bum ankles.
Yeah, and it's like he's like tearing into people, and it's
like Seth Curry ain't his brother. Let me tell you. So and usually, like, in today's day and age, like, you don't see players do that
not to that level
anymore.
Not to that level
anymore. And so I was like, oh, this is really going the other way. You saw Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons, like, serviceable.
He's reasonable and like, yeah, just tearing into everyone. But yeah, KD, like, just all he did he should have spoken forward sooner, and then he would have got his running mate and they would have been good. But I mean, top, or not top, but nearing the top of the Eastern Conference now. Alex, you scared up there with your Celtics?
Yes and no. Losing by 40 points to the Thunder last night wasn't a great look.
It's always a fun experience.
Without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jesus, even though, I mean...
Hey, Alex, you know what they say? Teamwork makes the dream work.
Well, so no, that's the classic Doc Rivers thing. The most dangerous team is the NBA is a team for one night without their best player. Because, even the guys that hate him in the locker room, like, all right, fuck him, he's out. Like, time for us to shine. So not a great look for the Celtics. I still think when the Celtics are right, I'm to the point now, I think they need to add a big, or like the perfect thing would be like a 6'9" wing who shoots threes and rebounds. That would be the perfect addition for the Celtics. Get that in one player, but they either need...
Oh, go figure. Yeah. I think that's everyone's perfect addition.
Yes, they need like... They need another wing player and or another big. Sam Hauser, I think clock is maybe getting close to striking midnight with him, and he's might be turning back into a pumpkin. He started out highest plus minus in the NBA, and I mean he did a lot more than Aaron Nesmith ever did as the shooter off the bench, but he's still he's been inconsistent lately. And I still think it's the Celtics and Bucks are still the two teams to beat just based on their talent, and the Celtics depth. I think should carry them to top 2
I'd
seed in
like
the
to hope.
East, barring an injury or better. Jesus.
The way the Celtics are playing, they should be in for another finals repeat. But Alex, do you see even the Nets or any other team even gracing like kind of those top two spots with the Bucks and
Yeah, this is the
Celts?
question that I want to ask you, John. I'll flip it back over to you. And
Ooh.
I think there's kind of two tiers of Eastern Conference contenders. There's the Celtics and Bucks based on their rosters in their in the Bucks case the championship pedigree. But the Nets have, played themselves back into contention. And I think the only other team right there is Cleveland. Like, I don't buy the 76ers. I think the 76ers in some ways
No.
are kind of they're a poor man's version of the Nuggets, who we just talked about. And the Nuggets have a much, deeper roster than the Sixers do.
I
So
I don't like the Sixers led by an aging James Harden. The
who wants to
Cavs,
go back to Houston that he
yeah,
wanted out? Misses those strip clubs that
right?
much, John.
Hey man, they're good strip clubs. Apparently the wings are amazing. But
I don't know if
one
it's any more than that place in Atlanta that
oh no
that
no
Lou
can't
Williams,
can't be can't no no that place in Atlanta with Lou Will, that has to be the best wings on
the one
planet
that
Earth.
he
If
broke
they,
the bubble for to
if they're
go
if they're worth a $250,000 fine, they're the best fucking wings on Earth.
you think.
Yep. But Alex, like you mentioned the Cavs. I don't know if I trust the Cavs just yet because to me they feel a lot like how you spoke of the Pelicans. I think they're about a year out. I think they're a move away. They feel like Donovan Mitchell made them take this huge stride. And that stride, the next stride for that team, excuse me, might even be Evan Mobley's just natural development. But to me, they feel like a team like they're
Yeah,
right
they feel like they're
there.
a wing short, and
Exactly.
yeah, given Kevin Durant's track record, I think you probably defer to Kevin Durant's and the
Exactly.
Nets'
And
experience there.
I think the Nets would be the other team that could maybe make a run just because they do have Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is still, I mean, I'd argue he's what the second, maybe third at worst best player on the planet.
Yes, yeah,
And
but at this point right now, yeah, I'd
exactly.
say
And
definitely no lower than fifth.
exactly, like for sure, top five. Kyrie is back to a level where he's an absolute superstar at the point guard position. So for me, they would be the team that's kind of outside the Celtics and Bucks that maybe makes a run. But I can't see the depth until the Nets make another move. Like their depth is just simply not good enough to compete with a team like the Bucks or Celtics. And I think we're just again, this is kind of like when we had Cavs and Warriors in the finals. I think we're just waiting until Celtics and Bucks meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, man.
Right, and that would be the collision course here, and so that's why from as a Celtics fan, I need the Celtics to get the 1 seed. Yep, you played like ass in the finals, and it cost you big time. You lost the championship.
What? I thought it
Now,
was just Marcus Smart. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no, it's like the Jason. No, Jason Tatum was. I mean,
Jason Tatum was not great. No.
he was your best player, and he did not play like it. And usually,
Jaylen Brown was good.
Jaylen Brown was great. Jaylen Brown played, he did his turnovers, his handle is still a work in progress.
Hey man, if you're gonna handle that much, you're gonna turn some of them over. It's just like if you gotta shoot them. You're gonna miss some of them, but you gotta shoot them.
Right. So yeah. So if I'm the Celtics, like that's why I want the 1 seed, because I think the Nets can. There's an opportunity for the Nets to separate themselves. I mean, they're second place right now. Might even be first place if the Celtics lost last night. I didn't check the standings. But there's a chance to separate yourself as that third best team, and then you're gonna then whoever finishes 2 is gonna have a fight on their hands in the second round, and maybe that toughens you up. Or I think if you're a team like the Celtics or Bucks, you'd probably you just need to get back, especially if you're the Celtics. You need to get back, and maybe you opt for a lesser road than the kind of the harder one that wore them down a little bit, dropping games. They could have closed out Miami in game 6 at home. They couldn't do it. And they had to play game 7 that Marcus Smart,
Killer instinct, Alex.
yeah,
Killer instinct.
nearly shot him at the mouth
That's
of.
that's what it's called, buddy. You don't need to run us through
I was
every bit of scar tissue.
oh, that would have
uh,
been a dark day.
Alex, I think we got to jump to the next topic before we peel off too many Celtics band-aids here.
Yeah, I'm going down the rabbit. Yeah, doing the recording after a Celtics
Well,
blowout
we
isn't
can
best for my mental
we'll
state.
do it. We'll do a separate special on Celtics blown playoff leads and stuff like that, or scar tissue games of our favorite teams past. Because
Yep,
as a Maple Leafs fan, you may have heard we got a lot of them.
there
we're
have been
kind
a
of
lot.
we're kind of experts in that category.
That's true, and the Blue Jays are right behind him.
Oh,
All right.
not too far, buddy. Not too far. They put in a real hard push this past summer or spring
So yeah,
or
we'll move on to
fall.
this week in social media. Just life happens a little bit too fast in the online world, the digital life. Even though social media is a cesspool, sometimes there are moments of levity, like
Hopefully,
our friend at who's at Barry on here, who made the observation. We just talked about the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell, who said Donovan Mitchell picked the absolute worst night to have one of the best games in NBA history. He put up those 71 points on the same night as the Damar Hamlin emergency on Monday Night Football, and so that really took the sports world his attention as appropriately as it should. But Donovan Mitchell did
yeah,
not necessarily get the love that
he definitely
he
missed some
also
shine.
that he deserved for having a great game. So congrats on the great game from all of us here at GNASS, Spider Mitchell.
Yep.
John,
Shout out. But yeah, obviously thoughts and prayers with Damar Hamlin and his family, and shout out Spider Mitchell to the best game since Kobe Bryant against, you guessed it, the Toronto Raptors.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Devin Booker had 70. Yeah, Devin Booker had 70 in the Boston Garden.
Yep.
Jay Crowder.
Wow,
Who
we
I
can
guess
wow, dude, we definitely need to do a special on this. We crushed that episode.
Well, I know the Celtics won that game because they post because Devin Booker like made that like handwritten sign like Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100, and then Jay Crowder's like never seen so many people happy about an L before.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Probably the best moment
But
of the Bridge Celtics. I digress, John. Who's getting your social media flowers this week?
my social media flowers are going to Alexander Ovechkin, captain of the Washington Capitals, the man who has patented the great chase to beat Wayne Gretzky, which is, by the way, the dumbest fucking name that he's done in a while. But beside the point, Alex, I hope that all of our listeners here on GNAS celebrate their New Year's like Alexander Ovechkin did, torching one of his favorite opponents, the Montreal Canadiens. And after showing them up in front of their moms, he went immediately to the press box because all the mothers of the Montreal Canadiens players were at this game. He went up to the press box to take pictures with their mothers, which was fantastic, which he immediately put on Instagram and Twitter. Just, I love you, Alex. Just bravo. Just bravo. You're a fantastic player. Continue doing what you're doing. And I can't wait for you to break Wayne Gretzky's record in about a year or two. But shout out to Alex Ovechkin and, of course, the Montreal Canadiens moms.
Yes, that's that's a great troll move.
Ultimate troll.
Well done, Ovi. All right, we got one last stop on the maiden voyage in 2023, John. It's time for Degenerate's Corner.
Sometimes she goes, sometimes it does. She didn't go. That's the way she goes.
22 black, 22 black. Ass, son of a bitch.
Fucking way she goes, he said.
Oh no, why did I bet the company payroll? Oh, Gil's in a lot of trouble.
Can the boys beat the number? We'll find out on Degenerate's Corner.
That's the way she goes, buddy. Fucking way she goes.
So Alex, because we have had our holiday break, I think we should just jump into 2023. So, my friend, what is your best bet? I'm guessing you're going back to the well. You got to be going to the well. Come on,
Yeah,
keep the streak going.
We're gonna start off this year like we started off last year. This is the last week of the NFL. This is the last week of the NFL regular season.
Don't worry, I'm going to the well too.
The NFL teasers, they've been hot. They've been hot for us here. So, yeah, we're going back to it. Given all this uncertainty with the Bills and the Bungles situation, I think the Chiefs. So I got the Chiefs first. They were at their minus. I took it at -7.5. I don't know if it's moved since. We got that down to -1.5. Look, I think the Chiefs, they just come out and take care of business. They want to be in the running for the 1 seed, however this shakes out. So how do you best position yourself? You win this game. Right? They should beat the Raiders by a field goal, at least.
I'd like to think they beat the Raiders by a lot.
Yes. So hopefully they'll take the Raiders to the woodshed.
Shout out to the Raiders for trying to bench Derek Carr.
In the AFC South Toilet Bowl to determine who wins that wretched division. Titans are going back to Josh Dobbs. John, there's a reason why Josh Dobbs has never really gotten a look as an NFL starting quarterback for his several years in pro football. This is what does it say about Malik Willis? The Titans were going to go back to him either. So I like the Jags to win this game. Tease them from -6.5 down to just half a point. Just got to win this game. Jags and Florida dad Doug Peterson going to the playoffs.
Sorry, I had to Google who Josh Dobbs was. That's why I was quiet.
Yes, yeah, exactly. John,
what
making
is
my point.
a Josh Dobbs? That's what I Googled.
Yeah. Browns and Steelers. Steelers are playing for pride here. They have a chance to finish with a winning record. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record in the NFL. So I think they're going to make this game into a tractor pull with the Browns. And the Browns, they're packed up. They're ready to go to Cancun with their pervert quarterback and take a long cold shower this offseason and get back at it. So we're gonna go tease the under from 40.5 up to under 46.5, and that pays out us 160 for some plus money. John, who's getting your best bet?
So my best bet, I'm kind of gambling here a little bit, well, for a good reason, but because we're gambling, but I'm gonna gamble on the GOAT. I'm going to take Tom Brady on the money line versus the Falcons. A little bit risky. Tom has not done me any favors this year betting on him, but he's plus,
even with nothing to play for.
Yeah, but he's a plus 180 dog against the Atlanta Falcons, the lowly Atlanta Falcons. So Tom, you better fucking win.
They could be we're playing to improve their draft position.
Well, yeah, they could. I'm hoping that Atlanta's tanking for draft position.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Playing to improve their draft position.
That's why I'm
sucking.
Exactly. So that's why I'm banking on Tom winning this game. Tom, you better fucking win. That's it. And that is plus 180 for the Bucks on the money line. Alex, what is your parlay, my friend?
Yeah, so new year. Hopefully this one cashes. We got a couple that cashed at the end of last year that were for albeit lower stakes than some of the other
that one of these big ones, and we're out for good.
Put together. So tonight, I got the Sacramento Kings laying just a point to the Atlanta Hawks. Kind of a toss-up game. Teams can get a little sleepy in Sacramento, so give me the Kings at home. I'll take the Heat on the money line against the Lakers. I just think that the Heat have been pretty inconsistent this year. I did that they were laying like 8.5 points. So I just think the Heat can't come out with a win here. Lakers still, I don't think that they've solved everything here. Tomorrow, Grizzlies in Orlando should be able to beat the Magic. We got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs on the money line. Like, there's no way they lose to the Raiders. Come on. 49ers against the Cardinals only in the first half. First half money line for the 49ers just to get a slightly lower number to beef up the parlay. Packers over Lions on the money line. I think Aaron Rodgers is actually out for blood right now, and it's not in Detroit, so Jared Goff doesn't like the colds. We're gonna go under 63 in the national championship game. TCU and Georgia. Georgia has an elite defense, not as elite as last year, but I think they have a balanced attack, and that should keep the number under 63. We got John helping us out with a couple hockey picks. Tomorrow we get the Rangers on the money line over the aforementioned Canadians and their mothers, and the Hartford Whalers, otherwise known as the Carolina Hurricanes, over the Predators on the money line tomorrow, and that's a juicy payout, plus 3120. So hopefully we will start that. I'll start off with a double winner on my side of the ledger. John, how about you?
Ooh, so for me, I'm gonna go back, and we're going to parlay our Bucks bet with the Giants. Now the Giants, we're going to take them at the spread plus 16.5. That's a bit of a teaser line because, well, a lot of teams playing for nothing this weekend. So I'm going to bet that they can keep it somewhat close with the Eagles, maybe even win, probably not win, but just keep it close enough. 17 points seems a lot for a throwaway game for two teams. We're going to take Detroit on the money line versus the Packers. This is a total gut feeling on this one. I think Detroit beats the Pack, ends Aaron Rodgers' dreams. Aaron Rodgers then goes off to another team. I'm betting storyline on this one, buddy, but that's how it works. And
Yeah,
then
hey,
finally, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say all's fair in blood and warfare, and yeah,
Exactly.
that would be a very unceremonious ending for Aaron Rodgers as a Packer, and they got to make a decision on Jordan Love. So
Exactly. And that's why I think that would be his like send off away from the Packers, so to speak. And then I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence again on our last show. Trevor Lawrence made me some money. So got to continue that hot streak. And I didn't know what a Joshua Dobbs was before we started the show. I still don't know what it is now. And I'm going to bet I'm not going to know what it is after this game either or care. And
he
because
was,
of that,
I think he was brought in to give Mason Rudolph competition for the Steelers backup. That's how he came into the NFL.
and I mean that with all due respect to him. But because of that, my friend, Trevor Lawrence going to wreck your ass. But we're going to take the Jags to close up that parlay. And that is a total parlay of plus 17. Is it 40? Yeah, 1742. There we go, buddy.
And may the odds be in your favor, John.
Thank you, sir. Well, Alex, that closes up today's show. Any closing thoughts for our viewers or listeners if you're on Spotify?
Let's make some money in the new year, and otherwise, thank you to John Henry and Fenway Sports Group for doing the absolutely bare minimum and signing Rafael Devers.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll talk about that one on the next episode. But yeah, shout out to everyone in Boston for that Rafa Devers extension. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. And yeah, man, enjoy the rest of the World Juniors.